Hey, good afternoon, everyone. It's Pastor Bramick at Holy Shepherd Lutheran Church. It is the 6th day of October. We're moving on to the 30th Psalm. And I want to start out here with the superscription. It says, a psalm, a song, for the dedication of the temple of David. Now, the superscription is a part of the inspired biblical text. It is actually in the original Hebrew. It's not like a later addition, okay? So when we see this here, we get a lot of information. First of all, that it is written by David. Second of all, that it is for the dedication of the temple. You know, you don't always get specifics when it comes to the superscriptions about what the psalm was actually used for. Like if you look at both Psalm 28 and 29, it just says a psalm of David or just of David. But for this one, we actually get a purpose and something that tells us about how the psalm was originally used. Now, I made the comment yesterday in the study that the Psalms were used, their usage was typically expanded over time. Like, when it was originally written, we see here a use for dedication of the temple. Later, it may have been used for a rededication of the temple, like under Judas Maccabee, or it may have been used for Hanukkah. Right? Things that were not around when the psalm was originally written, but later on, the Israelites adapted the use to include other types of events. Now, if you read the psalm, it does not mention the temple in here anywhere, and so it's a little bit like, wow, why or how did they come to use it for that? You don't even find here anything that says, the house of God, as you read through this psalm. And so it is a little bit perplexing. But I think the biggest and most important verse in here that would indicate its use for the temple would be in verse 4, where it says, "Sing to the Lord, you saints of his, praise his holy name." Now, you hear that, and that might sound a little bit generic, but what we have done here, or what David is doing here, is he is moving us from his own individual communication with God. When he starts out in verse 1, "I will exalt you, O Lord, for you lifted me out of the depths," and he's thanking God for rescuing him. But now in verse 4, there is a liturgical expansion of David's praise to invite the saints, the people of God, to also join David in his praising of God. And so in that sense, the psalm now becomes liturgical because it's no longer just being used for private devotional worship, but now it has expanded into community corporate worship, where David is inviting his fellow Israelites to join him in this praise. And in that sense, it has a national purpose to it, that, in Israel, they did not distinguish between church and state or temple and state, right? But these two things were combined. So if the nation is doing something, then you also think about the Old Testament church or the people of God, Israel, doing something. And so that's where we make the transition here, and that's where it really gets its name as a temple psalm, because it is expanding beyond just the individual petitioner in David himself. And it is including all of Israel. And where does Israel worship? Well, they worship at the temple. And so now we make this turn here, and we have this great expansion. And, David will continue with his joy and with his singing to God, especially towards the end when he talks about changing the wailing into dancing. That is one of my most favorite refrains here in the Psalms. And it's we sang this actually in our worship service a couple years ago, and it works quite well. It's very beautiful. So, but we have resurrection themes in here as well, and we'll get to those later in this week and tie them to Christ and the resurrection of Jesus and how important that is for our faith, our salvation, and our identity as believers. Okay, let's continue with the Lord's Prayer. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory, forever and ever. Amen. The Lord bless you and keep you. The Lord make his face to shine upon you and be gracious unto you. The Lord lift his countenance upon you and give you his peace. Amen. Okay, announcements for today. Email newsletter will be coming out on Wednesday, of course. We're still doing our voting to rename the campuses. Right now, just to give you a little bit of a hint in the poll number, or the online poll numbers, I have not counted the write-in ballots yet. So, but people are choosing Galilee for the North Campus, Bethlehem for the South Campus, and then Jerusalem is a strong favorite for our main campus. We do have some runner-ups, Bethany House for Knox House. That's in second place right now. And then I think Sinai is in second place for our North Campus. So we've only gotten like 21 entries overall. So there's still plenty of time here for this race to change leads. So you can either see the online poll in the email newsletter. I can email it to you if you're not getting the newsletter, or you can do a write-in ballot. And this Sunday will be the last Sunday to vote. So let's see. We are putting. We're still sponsoring seminarian David Christensen, who is married to Amanda Bueller. Amanda Bueller was a member here for some years, and her husband David is a seminarian in his fourth year at Concordia Theological Seminary, if you would like to support them. And let's see. Don't forget our fall festival coming up on October the 18th, and that is going to be from 4 to 6 p.m. It's both a combination of church and preschool, although predominantly preschool event, but we'd love to have your participation, and you can come up here and join in the festivities. There'll be some good food. It'd be a great way to meet some other preschool families, and we're fundraising for our playground. We would really like to update some of the smaller things, especially for the lower, the kids who are a little lower in age, our 2s and 3s. And then, we're talking about some extra things up here, possibly another gate to add for security and to help with protecting the kids. So we could use your support for that for our preschool, which, some of these things also benefit our church as well. So that's it. That's all I have for today. God bless you. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you tomorrow for more daily devotions.